Good evening, Jeremy Fernandez with ABC News. A billionaire businessman, reality TV star, unlikely candidate and now the 45th President of the United States. Donald Trump's transition to power is complete and tonight he sits in the Oval Office, arguably the most powerful man in the world. Today he told that world it was time for America to put itself first and the decisions would be made to benefit American workers and American families. Tonight we have complete coverage from our North America correspondents Zoe Daniel and Stephanie March in Washington. The reception in our region with Bill Birtles in Beijing and the reaction here at home. First, let's go to Zoe Daniel, who's at the White House. Zoe.
After a day of pomp, ceremony and tradition, Donald Trump is spending his first night in the White House as the new US president. Almost 900,000 people packed onto the Washington Mall today to see Donald Trump take the oath of office. In his inaugural speech, he outlined his way forward. He promised a new direction for the country, a bold stance on world affairs and a strong approach to the future. All of it designed to make America great again.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
A Washington outsider is now the holder of the highest office in the land.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again.
He swept to power on a populist wave and as president promises a new era of politics for the people, by the people.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first. Every decision on trade, on taxes, on immigration, on foreign affairs will be made to benefit American workers and American families.
It rained on Donald Trump's parade. Compared to other inaugurations, the crowd was sparse and not all were supporters. But before political royalty, including the vanquished Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump vowed to fight for those he thinks the establishment has let down.
Mothers and children trapped in poverty in our inner cities, rusted out factories scattered like tombstones across the landscape of our nation, an education system flush with cash, but which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now.
It's the rhetoric that won him the election, where he painted a dark picture of America. Now he's tasked with saving it.
The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action.
Donald Trump is now the president, and it feels as if he's climbed a huge mountain to get here. But of course, the reality is that the bigger task is ahead. He's set himself a huge agenda, not only for the first 100 days, but for the next 4 years. Those who felt ignored have been validated.
We traveled from Los Angeles to get here. This is really, really incredible to be here. Yeah.
Together, we will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
From the steps of the Capitol, it was on to the White House. The new First Family greeted supporters along the way. And then inside the Oval Office, the new president wasted little time, signing his first bills and executive orders, including beginning the process to repeal Obamacare. I did it my way. Taking the first steps for a new and ambitious administration. Donald Trump begins his term in office with one of the lowest approval ratings of any incoming president in history. There are still vast swathes of this country that are violently opposed to Donald Trump entering the White House. And today they came out in force to make their voices heard. Stephanie March was at one of the biggest protests here in Washington.
Just blocks from Donald Trump's swearing in, protesters were out in full force. Demonstrators clashed with police. Far-right activist and well-known Trump supporter Richard Spencer bore the brunt of one protester's anger.
It's become kind of a symbol.
Many say they were provoked by police.
When the tear spray comes out, when everyone starts panicking, when the pain sets in, yeah, this is where it goes.
And I turned around and somebody sprayed paper gas directly in my eyes.
Various anti-Trump forces took root across the city.
Are you trying to stop the Trump supporters from getting into the mall to see the inauguration?
Yes, ma'am.
You've come down here to try and get into the pub and you've been blocked by these protesters.
Is that what you call them? I call them idiots.
This could be just the beginning.
We're here to say to the world that we are not going to stand down in the face of not only an overt racist administration coming to Washington, D.C., but ideologically a fascist-minded administration.
While this protest has at times been tense and even violent, authorities say most of the demonstrations across the city have been largely peaceful. They have put a dampener on the day for Donald Trump's supporters, but they remain determined to celebrate this historic event.
Young and old from all over America came out to see their new leader. The crowds were down from 2009 when an estimated 1.8 million people turned out for Barack Obama's inauguration. But many of those who did show up were elated.
Upbeat. It's very upbeat. People are excited to be here. It's a moment in history.
Some see it as a chance for a new beginning.
It just feels great. I just hope that the country gets unified.
A big challenge for Donald Trump's deeply divided America. Stephanie March, ABC News, Washington.
Joining me now is Ed Brookover, a former senior Trump aide from the campaign, to help pick apart Donald Trump's speech. Thanks for joining us, Ed.
I'm glad to be here. It was a great speech.
Donald Trump, though, seemed to paint a bleak picture of America. Do you think he showed a willingness to unite the country, and how's he going to do that?
Well, his opening line was about he's going to represent all Americans and how his vision of America is to make things better for people from whatever ilk they are. And so, does he paint a picture of America as it is now? We're not doing great. There are many people who feel left behind. Our borders aren't secure. ISIS is an existential threat. So until we can face that reality, we can't make things better.
He focused on being a champion of the working class. He talked about taking back Washington for the people.
Yep.
He's now the president, though. How does he work with the very establishment that he's railed against? Because surely he's going to have to some extent.
Well, you know, they're going to have to join with him. The election results were clear and they were very plain. The people are ready for change. They want to take their government back. They're tired of Washington not getting things done. So what Donald Trump said was, you are now in charge. The people are now in charge. And so those who are here in Washington have to listen up and they have to be ready to work with Donald Trump.
Let's look at policy positions. He talked about a new era for infrastructure in America. What other hints did he give about what his early priorities might be?
Well, you know, his first thing is that American job, hire American, buy American. So he's clearly going to focus on the American economy and making things best for America. He talked about kicking ISIS and, and defeating ISIS, which is a worldwide goal. That
hard to do.
Well, but we have to do it. I mean, it may be hard, but we have no choice. If all of us, from wherever we are in the world, don't do that, we're all going to be living in fear. We can't live in fear. So Donald Trump is ready to help lead a coalition to go defeat ISIS. And so we're ready to do a multitude of things right now.
What would you say to the international community that's watching with interest and some concern over the sort of rhetoric that Donald Trump's used, particularly on social media towards China, for example? Should they be worried?
Here's what I would say, and he said it in the speech. He said every country has the right to be themselves. And they should be, and they should make themselves first, but then we have to work together, as opposed to having a situation where we don't understand what our internal goals are. Once we understand that, it's easier for us to work together. And we want to work together to make this world a safer place and a better place.
Ed Brookover, thank you so much.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So Donald Trump's vision for America is a bold one. Throughout the campaign, he promised a great deal, much of it controversial. Now that he's actually the president, what will he actually do? America and the world is watching and waiting.
Zoe, that's right. The response from world leaders today has been muted and cautious. Australia's Prime Minister congratulated President Trump and said Australia and the US are steadfast allies and trusted friends. Mexico's leader said the national interest of his country would guide the relationship with the new government of the United States. Canada's Justin Trudeau offered his congratulations and spoke of their shared prosperity and security. Germany has warned of a rough ride for Europe, while anti-EU politicians joined Israel and Russia in welcoming the Trump era. Vladimir Putin didn't watch the inauguration, but Mr. Trump was the toast of the town at parties in Moscow, which hailed the new leader of the Western world. In China, there's been a lukewarm response, which is already breaking